and giving the charge as reminding our delegates, visitors, guests that the IBC is not just a conference, it's for growth, collaboration, and partnership. At this time, we would like to invite Mr. Ramsay Ali, the President of the Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association and the Caribbean Manufacturers Association, to share his remarks with regards to Guyana's manufacturing future, opportunities, and challenges. Please welcome Mr. Ramsay Ali.
Good evening, everybody. And yes, we are going to stand on the protocols expressed by my friend, because there's no way I can repeat what he said. I don't remember all the things he said. And the second thing I'm very pleased about to speak now is that I'm speaking before His Excellency the President, and what I'm about to say, I'm sure he's going to be talking about, so I get to say it first before him. So that's a good thing for me personally. I'm just going to keep my presentation very short and concentrate on about 4 areas within the manufacturing landscape of Guyana that I believe is pertinent to the people in this room, not only our own manufacturers, but the people who are coming here to look at the possibility of engaging local manufacturers or even setting up their own businesses, but not only at the very high level, but also at medium level and even in the small scale manufacturing, agro-processing, etc. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is energy and the new areas of energy that's going to be available to Guyana and manufacturing as a whole. So if we can put up the next slide for me, please. Over the years, this country has not benefited from anything. I'm talking strictly about manufacturing here at all levels, relevant to any kind of advantage to our Caribbean counterparts or even our Latin American counterparts, relevant to LG costs. And it looks very shortly that is going to change. We have been told, and we know this is a fact because we are paying attention, that the cost of energy in this country is going to go down almost by 50%. But what is important to note is not only about the cost of energy, it's also, and if you were to talk to manufacturers in this room, the issue was not only about cost, but it was also about the quality of energy that manufacturers receive. Most manufacturing companies operate with very sensitive equipment. And unfortunately for us, over the years, the power company was not able to supply us with the quality of energy we need in this country. And based on everything we are told, not only are we going to be benefiting from energy, the cost of energy going down significantly, but the grid, there's significant amount of money is being spent on the grid to get that in a place where manufacturers can feel comfortable and investors can say, look, I can bring my equipment in here and I can benefit from something that is good and useful. So I'm going to give an example of how something can change almost overnight when it comes to this kind of investment that you could make. And if you don't believe me, and you don't have to believe me, you can believe that very nice lady sitting over there, who's the head of the IDB. She will back up this story. Approximately 2.5 years ago, we engaged, we at GMSA, we engaged the IDB to do a feasibility study on a very large project. Guyana imports every single piece of glass we use in this country. We don't produce glass. And we asked the IDB to do a study. And if the IDB did not put into their equation the new cost of energy into that study would be useless. And I can say to you now that we have the study, it was done, and there are about 3 or 4 companies in Guyana that are seriously sitting down at the table and discussing this project together with other stakeholders, smaller stakeholders, to make this project a reality. So I'm giving you a real-life example of the intervention of the government relevant to energy costs, quality energy, to make projects like this realistic. So, to the people in the room that are, thinking about Guyana and manufacturing and energy costs, it's not only about the gas to shore project also, because I've heard the president speak and other ministers of government speak about, other areas of energy from different sources, including hydro and solar energy. So I believe that in closing this, and just moving on from this topic, that we are finally going to move away from that place where we are no longer suffering from the cost of energy for manufacturers in Guyana. And, if you were to talk to us, I'm part of that. I work with a company that we're completely off the grid. If you were to factor in the costs, the new costs, we are going to be much more competitive in the export market. And that is something we look forward to. The other area I want to talk about is the connectivity of Guyana into our neighborhood, Suriname, northern Brazil. That is happening as we speak. And I can also say to you that in the last year or so, we have had, and when I say we, I'm talking about the GMSA, we have had several visits from our counterparts in northern Brazil who have already recognized that this is going to happen and the opportunities that will come when that road is built that connects northern Brazil into Port Georgetown and even across the Suriname River, the Berbice River, Quarantine River, etc. So it's a case where you're going to have connectivity that will grow business for sure. There's no doubt about that. As I said, I know of at least 4 companies in Brazil who have already set up shop here, just waiting for that moment when they can launch their businesses. Yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is, and this is mostly to the people in this room who are not maybe looking for the big businesses, the macro-sized businesses, but maybe investing or looking at smaller investments, agro-processing, areas around that, is that this country has seen, and those of us who are in manufacturing here in Guyana, this country has seen a significant increase in the population, and it continues to grow every day. And what that means for us as manufacturers is that there is more consumption. People have to live. And as I said, I keep saying this, if you ask our local manufacturers what's going on, they've all seen increases in businesses from local consumption. The other thing that is interesting, and I see the Minister of Labor here, and I was telling him I'm going to call him out tonight, that if you check right now, do a check of 100 companies in Guyana, and you ask them, what's your biggest problem facing you? What's your biggest challenge? The number one answer is going to be people, labor. This country has no labor at different levels. Entry level, back office level, technical level. Oil and gas took most of our people away. So that means there are going to be more people coming to this country. And if more people come to the country, there's going to be more consumption. That's basic common sense. And that means well for our manufacturers, agro processors, and people in this room who are looking to make investments together with those established companies here in Guyana. The other thing I just want to talk about, finally, is what we have also seen as manufacturers also is when we have benefited significantly from, when I say we, I'm talking about the local manufacturers here. When we get involved with joint ventures or companies that are coming in from first world countries, we have seen the use of technology, and that technology is already here. There are so many ERP solutions that are being touted every day for small, medium-sized, and large companies, and already we have seen the benefits. So for those of us in the room who are thinking, hold on a second, you might have to reinvent the wheel when you come here. That's not true. There are many, many companies that have already set up shop here that can offer you solutions, back office support, software, that can help you to really get your company started. So those were 3 or 4 areas I wanted to just quickly talk about in terms of where Guyana is, and as a country and the speed at which we are moving. It's an exciting time for all of us here in this country. As a manufacturer, as a person who works in the manufacturing, I myself is very excited on what is ahead of us. And I want to say to those of us who are thinking about getting involved in Guyana and in the manufacturing landscape, you need to stop thinking, because you're going to wake up one morning and find everything is, either gone or going. The time is now. There is a lot of opportunity here in this country for manufacturers. There are lots of companies that you can start to work with. We should talk about the business to business. I'm hoping that you are taking the opportunity to sit with them, meet with them. And yes, Guyana is a place where you want to be right now. I thank you for your time, and I hope what I said made some sense.